Ethan Walker had always lived in the quiet rhythm of small-town Oregon life. At 28, he still helped his grandmother with errands, yard work, and the endless community fundraisers she organized like clockwork. He told himself it was just duty, but deep down, those visits were the steady anchor in his otherwise ordinary days. He never expected that one ordinary Thursday would crack open something inside him he had spent years pretending wasn't there. He arrived at his grandmother's modest white house just after lunch, the autumn sunlight slanting golden through the maple trees. The fundraiser preparations were already underway. Boxes of decorations, ribbons, and handmade banners scattered across the living room floor. His grandmother greeted him with her usual hug and a quick list of tasks, but the moment he stepped inside, his eyes found her, Clare Dawson. Clare had been part of his life for as long as he could remember. His grandmother's closest friend, the woman who always remembered his birthday with a thoughtful card, who baked extra pies for family dinners, and who moved through the world with a calm grace that made the chaos around her feel softer. She was 45, maybe a little more, with gentle eyes, soft brown hair often tied back loosely, and a voice that carried the kind of warmth that made you want to linger in conversation. Ethan had never let himself name the feeling she stirred in him. She was simply grandma's friend, safe, familiar, off limits. Today she was sorting decorations with that same calm smile, sleeves rolled up, a faint dusting of glitter on her cheek. They exchanged polite greetings, the kind they always did, warm but careful. His grandmother excused herself to take a phone call in the kitchen, leaving the two of them alone in the sunlit room. They worked side by side, laughing lightly about Claire's admitted lack of artistic talent. Ethan bent to pick up a fallen ribbon when it happened, a sharp slide of fabric, a small gasp. Claire's foot caught the edge of a loose rug. She didn't scream, she only inhaled sharply as her ankle twisted beneath her. Ethan moved without thinking. In one fluid motion he lunged forward, catching her by the arms before she could hit the floor. Her body pressed against his for balance, her breath trembling against his collarbone. "It's okay, I've got you," he murmured, his voice steadier than he felt. Her knees buckled slightly, and he guided her gently back until she was braced against the wall, his hands firm on her arms, her weight supported entirely by him. Time slowed. The room shrank to the small space between them. He could feel the warmth of her skin through her blouse, the faint vanilla scent of her hair, the way her fingers instinctively clutched his shirt. Claire tried to put weight on her foot and winced, a soft pain sound that shot straight through him. "Wait. I can't move," she whispered, her cheeks flushed, eyes avoiding his at first, then meeting them in quiet embarrassment and something deeper. He held her closer, reassuring her again and again that she wasn't a burden, that he was glad he was there. Every small shift of her body sent sparks through him, the accidental tug of her hand on his shirt, the way her breath brushed his neck. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't a movie moment. It was real, raw, and terrifyingly intimate. For the first time, Ethan allowed himself to feel what he had buried for years, the quiet longing he had always carried for this woman who had always been just out of reach. Eventually, he helped her hobble to the sofa, one careful step at a time, his hand never leaving her back. His grandmother returned moments later, full of concerned energy, and the spell broke. Claire quickly smoothed her clothes and tried to downplay the injury, but Ethan saw the lingering flush on her cheeks, the way she avoided his eyes while still stealing glances. While his grandmother fetched ice and bandages, the room emptied again. Claire sat with her ankle elevated, breathing slowly. "Thank you for catching me," she said softly when they were alone once more. Her voice carried a depth he hadn't heard before. "I hate feeling like a burden." "You're not," Ethan replied, sitting across from her. "Not ever." She looked at him then, really looked, and something in her expression shifted. She spoke of how she had learned to handle everything alone after years of quiet struggles, how dependence frightened her, how kindness like his felt rare. Ethan listened, his chest tight with emotions he couldn't name. He told her it was okay to lean on someone, that even the strongest people needed that sometimes. She smiled, a real vulnerable smile that lit the room, and admitted she had always noticed how steady he was, how he showed up without being asked. The accidental brush of his hand against hers while adjusting her pillow sent a visible shiver through her. Neither pulled away immediately. The air thickened with unspoken words. She confessed quietly that the town had started to feel lonely, that she had spent too many years in the background of everyone else's lives. Ethan's response came from somewhere deeper than he expected. "You're not in the background, not to me." Their eyes held for a long moment, tender, searching, full of everything they couldn't yet say. The world outside the living room faded. In that fragile pause, the years of polite distance dissolved. Claire's loneliness met Ethan's long-hidden longing, and something new sparked between them, a connection that felt both inevitable and dangerous. His grandmother's return interrupted the moment, but the shift had already happened. As the afternoon continued, bandages applied, laughter forced, plans made, Ethan and Claire carried the secret warmth inside them. Later, when Claire carefully stood to leave, she turned to him one last time at the door. Her eyes said what her lips couldn't in front of others. Today changed something. Ethan walked home under the fading sunlight, heart racing in a way it never had before. For years he had watched Claire from the edges of family life, telling himself the coal was nothing. Today, in one ordinary moment of twisted ankle and steady hands, he had finally felt her, truly felt her, in his arms, in her words, in her eyes, the vulnerability they shared, the quiet confessions, the brush of skin that lingered too long. It was exactly what he had always wanted. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring. He didn't know where the line between friendship and something deeper would lead. But he knew one truth with absolute clarity. This was what he had always wanted, and thankfully he had gotten it that day. The end, or perhaps just the beginning. If you enjoyed this story, smash that like button, drop a comment below, and hit subscribe so you never miss a daily upload.